people want people with solutions. No one likes people to knock on your door and go, Arnie, there's a problem with this. No one wants those people. I want people to knock on the door and go, Arnie, we got a problem with this, but I was thinking these possible 2 solutions. Could I try those? Mm-hmm. We want thought leaders. We want solution people. We want problem solvers. We don't want town criers going, oh, the fax machine doesn't work. The coffee machine's broke. Don't tell me it's broke. Fix it or buy another coffee machine and bring me the tab to pay.
For the first time I saw one of your, like, curious on who Steve Sims is, check out this article. I was like, what? You know, I already kind of know Steve, but I'm just curious what he put here. And then it went to the, I think it was the Forbes article of like the crazy breakdown of your story. Do you want to give like a couple minute version of that so people who don't know you can get up to speed a little bit?
Yeah, I'm a kid that was kicked out of school at the age of 15 onto a building site because my family were bricklayers. And like all entrepreneurs, I felt that I didn't fit. You know, no matter where you are, you sit there and you go, is this it? Is this all I'm going to do? And I've noticed that most entrepreneurs start doing something amazing because originally they were pissed off with something. You know, why does this work that way? Why does it have to work that way? Standing on a building site, I didn't know what this glorious, sexy thing called an entrepreneur was. I just knew for shit that at the age of 15, I didn't want to be on a building site for the rest of my life. So there's got to be something better. I bounced around a ton of jobs, ended up becoming a doorman of a nightclub because it seemed to be what God built me to do. And then before you knew it, I wanted to get into other rooms, just like you've done. You've created rooms for people to get into and ask questions. Well, you know, I was doing this in the 90s where we didn't have, you know, Facebook or any of that kind of stuff. So we didn't have those rooms. So I actually went into actual rooms. I went along to cocktail parties. I went along the bar of a high-end hotel on a Friday night just to see how rich people. I remember holding my same beer for like 4 hours because I couldn't afford a second one, just to watch how rich people interacted, spoke to each other, looked at each other. So I went on this journey to try and find out, is there another world? And along the journey, started meeting rich people, started meeting fake people, which is just as important because you need to recognize the snake to be able to recognize the gold. And I started to notice the difference, how people acted, how they stood up, how they interacted. And I wanted to stay there. I wanted rich people to work with me. So if you want to work with rich people, give them what they want. And so by default design luck, I launched the world's first concierge firm called the Bluefish. And over 25 years, I got people married in the Vatican by the Pope, closed museums in Florence for a dinner party of 6 and had Andrea Bocelli come in and serenade him. I've sent more people down to the Titanic than anybody. And there's been more people up into space and onto the top of Everest than there have been down at the Titanic. And I'm numero uno for that. I've had them walk-on roles on movies, walk-on roles on TV shows, drum lessons with Guns N' Roses, singing on stage with rock bands. I'm basically the Make-A-Wish Foundation for people with really big checkbooks.
I love that final description. Make-A-Wish Foundation for people with really big checkbooks. Love it. Also, on that note, guys, while you're watching, like, if money was not an issue, if closed doors was not an issue, what door would you want to have Steve open for you? Like the biggest, like, moonshot dream, if whatever it is, I'm just curious, what would it be? Let me know in the comments. We'll read some of those out. We'll have some fun with that in a bit. And all of those crazy highlights aside, the most important thing that you've done with this is you've written this down as an art so other people can replicate it. You know, it's this one thing to say, oh, well, you know, Steve is cool and all. He's got all these, you know, billionaire celebrity connections. Of course, he's going to go do awesome stuff. But what about me? You know, the average Joe who doesn't have all that, what can they do? And that's where I really want to introduce you guys to, Steve's methods. And that's when, like, I read Steve's book and loved it. I actually reread it the other week, and there it is, Bluefishing. Get your copy, guys. So do you want to share a little bit, like, how that methodology came to be? Because you used to be a bricklayer, you used to be, a nightclub doorman, until you figured out how to really create opportunities. So, like, how did that get developed?
Again, I think it's in all of us. I think any entrepreneur, we're inquisitive, and I needed to know, where the button was. I needed to know where the difference was, where the change was. I'm poor, they're rich. Now, I had a lot of drive. I had a lot of desire. I would work, 28 hours in a day. So why are they rich and I'm not? So there was that constant hunger to know why. And I needed to find out what the rich people wanted. So I discovered something very easy. They say that you can get your foot in the door very easily now. The real trick is no longer that, because you can contact anyone through any number of social feeds. The real trick is providing some solution that makes them want to bring you in and close the door behind you and keep you. And I noticed when I was a doorman, and it was funny that you asked about what would you do. I guarantee you a lot of people are there are embarrassed to ask for what they really want. They don't want to tell you they want to sing with Taylor Swift. They don't want to tell you that they want to have dinner with the Queen of England, because it may sound soppy, because it's their dream. Okay. It's their passion. And I noticed that the more influential, the more higher profile you got, the less you are willing to ask people. I'll give you a perfect example. I had a very, very famous rock star, okay? And he wanted to go somewhere. And there was this big party. And he said to me, get me into that party. Now, I said to him, you've only got to get one of your assistants to send a text, and you've got the party. You will own the party. And he said, for me to get into that party, I got to do two things. One, I got to pay now to get in. That's what I want you to do. Or I pay later. But there's no such thing as a free party when you are who I am, because they'll have the photographers out front waiting for me to snap a picture to give credibility to their club. They'll have me stood next to their manager or their owner, or they'll try to get me to get on the board to make it cool, or they'll decline me entrance just so they can turn around and say, we're so cool, we even declined so-and-so entrance. He said, there's no free ride when you get to us. Someone's cutting it somewhere. And so I noticed that the higher profile you've got, and it's weird. I had a very famous producer wanted to go backstage and meet a pretty decent rock band, not Rolling Stones, not The Who, not anyone of that magnitude, not Aerosmith, not anyone iconic like that. A pretty decent band, but no head. And I went, why do you want to do that? He said, I don't want it to become an endorsement. I don't want it to become something that's going to cost me down the line. I just want to get backstage, get my kids to meet them, for me to meet them, to shake, and I want to bug off, and I want no one to know about it.
Yeah.
But they couldn't ask themselves. So I noticed that the more high profile you get, the harder it is for you to ask for things. I became that person that could go, look, I've got someone that's very powerful, wants to get in. What do we need to do to make it happen? And then I would turn up and everybody go, oh my God, why didn't you tell me it was going to be this person? And I said, because I didn't want that reaction. That's why.
Yeah, I love it. And it's so interesting, that different perspective of like, it's going to cost me all these other things, of reputation, of having to do other people favors, of, all these things that could happen. So just Steve, just hook it up. So yeah. Then you get these requests, and how do you go about going, all right, this person wants to do X, Y, and Z. How can we make that happen? Like, what's your thought process?
Well, the first thing is, and you called it out very articulately already, money does not come into the equation until the very end, okay? If you want celebrity on access to shut down, go forward and go, hey, how much will it cost for you to do this for me? And watch them walk away from you. No one wants to be a solicitation. No one wants to be a prostitute. No one wants to be up for hire. Okay, especially when you're dealing with people like Elton John, who are paid literally millions of dollars just to show up for an hour. They don't want to be prostituted. So what you have to do is you have to do two things. What's in it for them? Okay, so you need to look at the person that we're chatting with and go, okay, what's in it for them that's going to make them interested in my request? You see, a lot of people, they look at the eyeballs the wrong way, and I'm going to pick on you, you know, because I like picking on you regardless. But Arne, I'm gonna play a little game that's going to demonstrate it. So I'm setting myself up now, but I'm going to demonstrate what I mean about people's perspectives. Okay. So I have a party this Saturday night coming up. All right. And you're in my area, and I'm chatting with you, Arne, and I say, Arne, why don't you come to the party Saturday night? What's the first question you ask me?
I don't know. Like, where is it at?
Perfect question. Where is it, Steve? What's the address? All right. What's the second question you ask me?
What's the party about?
What's the party about? Perfect. Great. What's the theme? What's the clothing? Great. What's the third question you ask me?
Who's going to be there?
Who's going to be there? Exactly. You bastard. You failed. Okay. Because every single one of those questions that I asked you or that you asked me was self-serving to you. Every single one of those questions didn't benefit me. I've invited you to a party, and now you're interviewing me as to whether or not you're going to turn up. All right. But here's something funny. And I've done this game, I don't know, 1,000 times now, never failed. Here's one thing I want you to do today, Arne. Go to someone that hasn't watched this interview. Go to a girl, okay? Girl, lady, older woman, younger, whatever. But go to a female and say, hey, I want to play a game with you. My mate's having a party and he wants us to come. What would be the 3 questions you would ask him? Do you know what the first question she will ask?
What?
Okay, what do we need to bring?
Mm-hmm.
The women always turn around and go, okay, what can we bring? Can we bring some alcohol? Can we bring dessert? Can we bring some salad? What can we bring? You ask a guy this, he wants to know who's going to be there, you know, who will he meet? All of those questions are self-serving you, okay? They don't help me. But the females out there, they want to help me. They go, thank you so much, Steve. What can I bring? When you go and meet a client or you go and meet a event or a location or a celebrity, someone that you want to go, think to yourself, what can I bring to this conversation that is going to make them want me to stay? What can I bring to this party? It sounds silly, but think about it. So every time I've ever gone up to anyone, this is how I do it. And I'll give it to you exactly. For a start, I've never stumbled on anybody. Okay. I've got better laser focus than the NSA. You know, I'm pinpoint accuracy. If I'm going to an event and I want to get in front of you, I'm going to stalk you. I'm going to cyber stalk you. Look at your picture. What do you like? Where do you go? How do you travel? What's your family like? Do you have a book? Do you have a movie? Do you have a cause? Do you have a passion project? I'm going to find out all of those things. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up at the party and I'm going to walk up to you and I'm going to say this. Hey, how you doing? My name's Steve Sims. You don't know me. Now, that may sound like the stupidest thing in the world. And Arne, you'll be able to back this up. How many people, you've got a massive following, how many people have ever walked up to you and go, hey, Arne, how are you? And you're stood there going, who the fuck are you? You don't know, do you?
Happen.
You know, and you're stood there going, hi. And in your head, you're going, who's this? Do I know them? Did I date them? Did I sleep with them? Did I buy them drinks? Did we go out? Is it a mate of mine? Yeah, have we done big? You're going through, your head is going 900 miles an hour. When you're in that space, you're agitated. Okay, you're not in flow. If you can walk up to someone and go, hey, Mr. Musk, how are you? My name is Steve Sims. You don't know me. It relaxes them. Just imagine if I walked up to you in a bar and I went, hey, Arne, Giske, how you doing? My name's Steve Sims. You don't know me. Straight away, you're relaxed. Is let you off the hook.
Yep.
Okay. Then another question's coming into your head. What does this person want? And the higher the profile, the louder that question is. So the first question is, do I know this person in front of me? And then quickly, what do they want? Do they want a selfie? Do they want me to endorse that product? Do they want me to invest in it? You know, what does this person want? So get that out of the way. Hey, my name's Steve Sims, and you don't know me, but I do know that you have a charity. And I'm just wondering, have you ever thought of distributing it by this method? You give them a solution. Even if your solution's shit, okay? You say to them, hey, I hear you've got a book coming out. I've got a podcast, but more importantly, I know 50 of my friends that run the biggest podcasts in America. Getting your book distributed over those platforms, would that be of interest? Yeah. Bang, you've got them, you know? I hear you've got a movie coming out, but I also aware that you support the Save the Pigeons Foundation. How would you like it if I could organize a good donation into that foundation? You know, just stuff like that. Whenever you turn up, try to think like the smart people in that game that I played with you earlier, the ladies in the room, and go, what can I bring to the party? There's a very famous person, which I can't mention. He was one of the people on Shark Tank. And I went up to him and I said to him, hey, how you doing? My name's Steve Sims. You don't know me, but I know you're involved in this project. And as I was looking over it, because it was a fascinating project, I saw 3 pitfalls. Had you considered how you're going to get over these 3 pitfalls? And I run through each one of those pitfalls that I had recognized by doing my due diligence and my digging. And he looked at me. And then he looked at his mate. And they both started laughing at each other. And then they looked at me, still laughing. And I thought to myself, shit, I got this guy laughing at me. Everyone around me is watching this guy laughing at me. This is not the response I wanted. And I was about to turn around and walk away. And you've met me. I'm not a small guy, but this was not what I wanted. So he suddenly put his hand on my shoulder and he went, no, sorry, we're not laughing at you. So I was expecting, you know, the next stupid statement to be, we're laughing with you, you know, that bullshit, which is never true. But he went, no, we're not laughing at you, but you wouldn't realize. He said, you wouldn't believe it. We had that project going for 3 years. And this summer, we identified those 3 problems and we closed the entire project down because of those 3 issues. Not 4, not 5, because of those 3. I've met you for 3 seconds. You've Googled me and you've realized those 3 in, how long did it take you? Half an hour? And I went, yeah, about that. And he went, look, we don't have that project anymore, but I have another project. Would you be willing to get involved in that project with me and take a look? And he literally retained me for 3 years to look into this project.
Wow.
Okay. So people want people with solutions. No one likes people to knock on your door and go, Arne, there's a problem with this. No one wants those people. I want people to knock on the door and go, Arne, we got a problem with this, but I was thinking these possible 2 solutions. Could I try those? We want thought leaders. We want solution people. We want problem solvers. We don't want town criers going, oh, the fax machine doesn't work. The coffee machine's broke. Don't tell me it's broke. Fix it or buy another coffee machine and bring me the tab to pay. You know, that's what we want. So we want people with solutions. So if you're going to go up to anyone powerful, they're all over the internet, you know. In fact, it's harder for me to know what my next door neighbor's up to than it is Elon Musk's former wife. Because the higher the profile, the easier it is to find.